Welcome to my channel Super Rare Coins. Today is best top 3 coins. Please don't skip this video. So let's get it started. The 5-cent coin of New Zealand dated 1986 is part of the former New Zealand decimal currency system, which was introduced in 1967 and remained in use until the coin's demonetization in 2006. The 5-cent piece represented 1/20th of a New Zealand dollar and was one of the smallest denominations in regular circulation. Its 1986 issue reflects a period of continuity in design, monetary stability, and ongoing evolution in the coinage of New Zealand, all under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose effigy graces the obverse. This coin not only served as a practical tool in commerce, but also embodied national identity through its distinctive reverse design, which celebrated New Zealand's unique fauna. The obverse, front, of the 1986 New Zealand 5-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, one of the most recognized sculptors for Commonwealth coinage. This effigy, used from 1967 to 1985-86 in New Zealand, depicts the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The portrait is right-facing and surrounded by the Elizabeth II on the left and New Zealand on the right, forming a continuous legend around the periphery of the coin. The date, 1986, is placed below the portrait. This design symbolizes New Zealand's constitutional monarchy and its status as a member of the Commonwealth realms, with the Queen as head of state. The reverse, back, is one of the most iconic of New Zealand's decimal coins. It depicts the tuatara, an ancient reptile endemic to New Zealand perched on a coastal rock formation. The tuatara, often mistaken for a lizard but actually belonging to a unique order, Rhynchocephalia, is considered a living fossil, having survived since the age of the dinosaurs. The design was created by New Zealand artist Reginald George James Barry, whose initials, JB, are found at the base of the design. Above the tuatara is the denomination 5, indicating its value in cents. This reverse motif connected the coinage with the country's rich natural heritage and was highly regarded for its educational and cultural significance. The physical specifications of the 1986 5-cent coin follow the standard introduced with decimalization in 1967. It is composed of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, giving it a silvery appearance. The coin measures 19.43 millimeters in diameter, weighs 2.83 grams, and has a plain, smooth edge. These specifications made it lightweight and easy to handle, but also relatively small in value. Due to its copper-nickel composition, it was resistant to corrosion, allowing many examples to survive in decent condition even after decades of circulation. The mintage for the 1986 New Zealand 5-cent coin was part of the regular annual production to meet circulating demands. While exact mintage figures for that year were moderate compared to the earlier heavy issue years of decimalization, millions were produced, ensuring their availability for everyday transactions. Coins of this date were struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, as New Zealand did not have its own independent minting facility at that time. Some years also saw production by other Commonwealth mints when necessary. In historical context, 1986 was a time of significant socio-political and economic changes in New Zealand. The government under Prime Minister David Lang was pursuing economic reforms, including deregulation and restructuring of state enterprises. The 5-cent coin, however, remained a staple in daily life. Used for small purchases such as newspapers, postage stamps, and low-cost groceries, its presence in circulation reflected the still relatively low cost of minor goods and services during this pre-inflationary period. From a numismatic perspective, the 1986 5-cent coin is considered a common date, widely available in circulated grades. In worn condition, fine to very fine, it carries little premium over its face value. However, uncirculated or mint state, MS, examples, especially those with full original luster and no contact marks, are more sought after by collectors who aim to complete year sets of New Zealand's decimal coinage. Proof strikes were also issued in limited numbers for collectors in official sets, featuring a mirror-like finish and frosted details. The symbolism of the tuatara on the reverse is particularly noteworthy. It represents resilient survival and the unique evolutionary history of New Zealand's wildlife. The rocky coastal background further reinforces the theme of natural heritage. This design remained unchanged throughout the 5-cent coin circulation life, making it one of the most beloved and easily recognizable coins in New Zealand's history. Demonetization came in 2006 when the Reserve Bank of New Zealand phased out the 5-cent coin, along with reducing the size and weight of the 10, 20, and 50-cent coins. Rising production costs and the declining purchasing power of the 5-cent denomination made it economically impractical to continue. Many of the old coins were melted down, significantly reducing the number of high-grade survivors in the years that followed. Collectors today regard the 1986 5-cent coin as a piece of everyday history rather than a rarity. In bulk circulated coins are inexpensive, but high-grade uncirculated examples, or those still sealed in mint sets, can command modest premiums, especially in international markets where interest in Commonwealth coinage is strong. Proof versions are notably scarcer and more valuable. Varieties and errors for the 1986 issue are minimal, but as with many circulation coins, occasional misstrikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws can be found. Such errors are collected on a case-by-case basis, with dramatic errors fetching significantly higher prices among specialized error coin collectors. The legacy of the New Zealand 5-cent coin is one of nostalgia and national pride. For many citizens, it recalls a time when even the smallest coins had purchasing power, and when the tuatara became a familiar emblem of daily life. Today, these coins are often retained as keepsakes or souvenirs rather than redeemed, as their demonetized status prevents them from being used in commerce. Overall, the 1986 New Zealand 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II stands as a testament to practical coin design, clear denomination, national symbolism, and durable materials. It is a coin that served its purpose effectively for nearly 40 years and now survives as a collectible reminder of a past era in New Zealand's monetary history. Next, the 1995 Australian 5-cent coin is part of Australia's decimal currency system, which was introduced in 1966, replacing the old pre-decimal pound shillings and pence. The 5-cent denomination has been among the smallest circulating coins in the Australian system, representing 1/20th of an Australian dollar. The 1995 issue is notable for being produced during a period of steady economic and social evolution in Australia, where the coin continued its long-standing design introduced in the 1960s, featuring a unique native animal and the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. Despite its small face value, it served an essential role in everyday commerce for nearly 4 decades. The obverse, front, of the 1995 5-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Raphael Maklauf, whose effigy was used on Australian coins from 1985 to 1998. In this portrait, the Queen is shown facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem adorned with diamonds, pearls, crosses, and floral emblems representing the United Kingdom. The surrounding her portrait reads Elizabeth II Australia 1995, with the year of issue positioned below. This design symbolizes Australia's constitutional monarchy and its ties to the British Crown during the late 20th century. The reverse, back, of the coin showcases the short-beaked echidna, Tachyglossus aculeatus, one of only 2 egg-laying mammals, monotremes, in the world, the other being the platypus. This distinctive creature with its spines and long snout is depicted curled around the numeral 5, representing its denomination. The design was created by Stuart Devlin, the renowned Australian goldsmith and jeweler who designed the entire suite of Australia's decimal coins. His initials, SD, are often subtly incorporated into the reverse design. The echidna symbolizes Australia's unique wildlife and is one of the most recognized motifs in the nation's coinage. The physical specifications of the 1995 Australian 5-cent coin remain consistent with its series. It is made of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weighs 2.83 grams, has a diameter of 19.41 millimeters and a thickness of 1.30 millimeters with a plain, smooth edge. These specifications have been standard since the coin's introduction in 1966. Its lightweight and small size made it useful for minor transactions, though its purchasing power diminished over the years due to inflation. The mintage for the 1995 5-cent coin was relatively high, as it was a standard circulating issue produced by the Royal Australian Mint, Canberra, to meet everyday demand. Tens of millions of these coins were struck, ensuring wide circulation throughout Australia. Because of this, the 1995 issue is considered common in circulated grades. However, special proof and uncirculated versions were also produced for collector sets, often struck to higher standards with mirror-like fields and frosted designs. From a historical perspective, the mid-1990s marked a period of cultural development and economic reform in Australia. In 1995, the 5-cent coin retained its functional importance for low-value transactions such as vending machines, small change, and retail rounding. It was part of daily life in a pre-digital economy where cash payments were still predominant. This period was also before the introduction of the Goods and Services Tax, GST, in 2000, when the small denominations still played a more active role. Collector interest in the 1995 5-cent coin is modest, as it is a regular circulation issue with no significant errors or varieties widely recorded for that year. In well-worn condition, fine or very fine, it generally holds only its face value. However, in uncirculated or mint state, MS, grades, particularly coins with full original luster and sharp details, it can fetch a small premium among collectors completing year sets of Australian decimal coinage. The proof coins from 1995, available only in collector sets, are more desirable and command higher prices depending on their condition and packaging. The design significance of the echidna on the reverse continues to be one of the highlights of this coin. The echidna, an ancient monotreme, represents resilience and adaptation. It is found across most of Australia, inhabiting forests, deserts, and coastal regions. Its presence on the smallest denomination signifies the importance of native fauna in representing Australia's identity. This reverse design has remained unchanged since 1966, making it one of the longest-lasting and most iconic coin designs in the nation's history. No major varieties were officially noted for the 1995 issue, but as with most circulating coins, minor minting errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets occasionally appear and are collected on a case-by-case basis. Dramatic or rare errors can command significant interest among specialized collectors, and the broader timeline, the Australian 5-cent coin faced gradual decline in relevance as inflation eroded its purchasing power. By the 2010s, discussions began regarding its potential removal, similar to the 1 and 2 cent coins which were withdrawn in 1992. However, the 5-cent coin remains in circulation as of today, though its practical value is minimal. For numismatic preservation collectors often seek examples from 1995 in high-grade mint state, MS65, MS67 or higher. Certified by professional grading services, these coins exhibit sharp strike details, no wear, and attractive eye appeal. Proof coins from 1995 feature a deeply mirrored field and frosted devices, making them superior examples of Stuart Devlin's echidna design. The cultural memory associated with the 1995 5-cent coin is significant, as many Australians recall it from childhood as one of the smallest coins used for school canteens, phone booths, and minor purchases. Despite its low value, it forms a part of the collective history of Australian currency. Next, the 1989 Australian 5-cent coin is a key component of Australia's decimal coinage, introduced in 1966 when the nation transitioned from the British-influenced pound, shillings, and pence system to the modern decimal dollar. This coin belongs to the smallest denomination still circulating today, though its purchasing power has greatly diminished over time. The 1989 issue reflects a period in Australian history marked by economic reform, globalization, and cultural growth, and it continues the long-running series that showcases the short-beaked echidna, one of Australia's most iconic native animals. Like all Australian coins of the era, it features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, symbolising Australia's constitutional monarchy under the Commonwealth realm. The obverse, front, of the coin features the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Raphael Maclauff and used on Australian coinage from 1985 to 1998. In this effigy, the Queen is depicted facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem, which is adorned with intricate crosses and floral emblems representing the nations of the United Kingdom. The reads, Elizabeth II Australia 1989, with the date clearly positioned to mark the year of issue. This portrait aimed to present a more regal and idealized representation of the monarch, distinct from the earlier designs by Arnold McKim and later by Ian Rank Broadley. The reverse, back, showcases the famous depiction of the short-beaked echidna, Tachyglossus aculeatus, created by designer Stuart Devlin, who was responsible for the designs of the entire Australian decimal coin series in 1966. The echidna, with its distinctive spines and long snout, adapted for feeding on ants and termites, is curled around the central numeral 5, representing the coin's denomination. This design has remained unchanged since its introduction and is recognized worldwide as a symbol of Australia's unique wildlife. The fine detailing of the spines and body texture highlights the artistry of Devlin's work. The technical specifications of the 1989 5-cent coin are consistent with its series. A diameter of 19.41 millimeters, a weight of 2.83 grams, a thickness of approximately 1.30 millimeters, and a plain, smooth edge. It is composed of copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, providing both durability and resistance to corrosion. These specifications made the coin small and lightweight, well suited for minor transactions in everyday commerce of the late 1980s. The mintage for the 1989 5-cent coin was in the tens of millions, struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra to meet general circulation demand. As a result, the coin is considered common in circulated condition. Special collector editions were also struck in proof and mint sets, often with higher striking quality polished dies and mirror-like fields, intended for numismatists and collectors rather than circulation. From a historical context, 1989 was a year of gradual transition for Australia. The economy was preparing for the reforms of the early 1990s, and inflation was present but moderate compared to later decades. cash transactions were still the primary form of payment, and the 5-cent coin played a daily role in vending, telephones, and retail purchases, especially for rounding small amounts. The coin was still very relevant in everyday life, unlike in recent decades where it has lost much of its purchasing power. The numismatic value of the 1989 Australian 5-cent coin depends heavily on its condition. Circulated coins usually hold only their face value, but uncirculated or mint state (MS) examples, particularly those graded MS65 or higher, can attract modest premiums among collectors aiming to complete year-by-year collections. Proof versions struck for collector sets often command higher prices due to their low mintage and superior finish. Coins exhibiting errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets are also sought after and may carry significant premiums depending on their rarity and visual impact. The design legacy of this coin is tied to its enduring reverse artwork, which has remained virtually unchanged for decades. The echidna is one of the world's only two monotremes, egg-laying mammals, the other being the platypus, and its presence on a coin of everyday commerce reflects Australia's commitment to celebrating its unique fauna. The continued use of this design from 1966 onward has made it a familiar and nostalgic piece of Australian life for generations, and no major varieties or commemorative editions were officially released for the 1989 5-cent coin, making it a straightforward year in the series without special distinguishing marks apart from proof issues. However, it forms part of a long lineage of coins that have subtly evolved in terms of the monarch's portrait while keeping the reverse consistent. From a collector's standpoint, this coin represents the midlife of the Raphael Maclauf effigy era, 1985-1998, and is often included in decimal typesets or date runs in high-grade condition. Coins from 1989 can demonstrate strong strike quality, clear diadem details on the queen's portrait, and well-defined echidna spines, which are key indicators of superior preservation. The cultural and economic significance of the 5-cent coin has diminished over time, with rising production costs and low purchasing power sparking debates about its eventual withdrawal, similar to the removal of the 1 and 2-cent coins in 1992. Yet in 1989, the coin was a vital component of Australia's currency system and a common presence in pockets and cash registers across the country. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.